I just retired a couple months ago at the age of 59, and one of the big surprises to me is, candidly, I'm kind of avoiding people. And I want to chat about why I think that is, and also get your thoughts about it in the comments. So, when I was working, I had a job that I loved. It was easy for me. I found it very rewarding. But frankly, I was in front of people almost all day long. 8 hours a day I was in front of people, meeting with people, talking with people on the phone, either in a conference room or out at lunch or at breakfast or over a coffee. And frankly, one of the surprises of my retirement is, some people when they first retire, they say, they felt like they had to sleep a little bit more than normal to kind of catch up on their sleep. I didn't have that, but what I am having is this feeling like, I want my time. And I think because for almost 25 years, I was in front of people, and I had a role I had to play. And that role was dictated by the calendar. It was dictated by my day schedule. It was dictated by the clock. And I think me avoiding people right now, early in my retirement, is a reaction to that. It's just me kind of recovering from that. And so, as I look at retirement, it was a hard decision for me to retire. For those of you that are regular viewers of my channel, I'm a fan of people retiring in their 50s as opposed to their mid to late 60s. And the reason is, life is short. And unfortunately, this is the last chapter that we have in our lives where we have our physical strength, where we have our mental acuity, where we have the ability to go do the things that we've always said, someday I want to do this, someday I want to do that. So I'm a fan of that. But frankly, it was hard for me to retire because I enjoyed my job. I was good at it. I liked my company. I liked the people that I worked with. I was well paid. And for all of those reasons, it was hard for me to retire. But I got to tell you, 3-4 months into retirement now, it feels really good. But like I said, I do find that, I want my time, and I'm kind of avoiding. I'm a very outgoing person. I love meeting people. I love hearing other people's stories and finding out what motivates them and what their goals are. And, maybe if I can be helpful in that, I love being able to talk to them about that. But I'm kind of finding right now, I kind of need my me time. And this, frankly, my YouTube channel is my way of kind of giving back and being part of society in a more meaningful way. But outside of my YouTube channel and outside of my immediate family, I'm finding I want my time. There's 168 hours in a week. And when I was working, obviously I didn't get all 168 hours a week, right? I had to give my company 40, 50 hours a week of that, plus probably toss on another 10 hours just getting ready for work and coming back. So of that 168 hours, I lost 50 of those. So now I'm down to 118, and then you sleep, let's say, another 60, and that leaves you about 60 hours a week. And, one of my big takeaways, not just the surprise that I've shared with you, that I'm not as active meeting people and frankly kind of avoiding people. But outside of that, my big surprise is I want all of these 168 hours a week. I want them all. I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I didn't fully appreciate that when I was working. It's just how enjoyable it is to have control of the full 168 hours a week, as opposed to giving up, roughly half of the waking time. to my company and to the goals of my company, even though I was on board with those goals. I enjoyed those goals. I enjoy, it was kind of a part of my purpose, right, is trying to achieve things and helping the company achieve their goals. But yeah, I've really, really enjoyed having control of the full 168 hours as opposed to having to share those. And I'm curious, from your standpoint, if you've retired, what are the changes that you have seen? Again, for me, it's that I tend to enjoy my me time right now. I think that's just a temporary thing. I do have clients, I have friends that have retired, and oftentimes, they say that they needed to sleep more for the first 6 months of retirement. Oftentimes there's people that have put off being able to travel, being able to do other big adventures, and so they're focusing on that early on. And so I think my situation is similar to that. And I think it's normal, and I think it's healthy. Having been a financial advisor for over 20 years, I think it's important that we hit the ground running. As I record this, I'm literally just back in the United States, a little over 24 hours. I spent a month in Guatemala. You also saw that I was in New York City for half a month before that. So, I've been gone for a month and a half, either in New York City or in Guatemala, just doing some adventures that I've always wanted to do. I've always enjoyed New York City. My wife says she'd divorce me if I asked her to move to New York City, and I wouldn't do that, but I think it would be fun to live in New York City for a year or 2 years, and so I had a chance to go there for half a month. And I'm glad I did that. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice time of year to be in New York City. So I think it's important for all of us to hit the ground running. None of us know how long we're going to have right now. I'm healthy. Right now I'm fit. Right now I think I'm all there. I have my full mental acuity. So it's important we do that. And it's also important, and this is super hard, that we transition from being a saver into being a spender. And that's hard for me. That's hard for anybody to transition into. But I think it's really, really important because it's not just retiring, it's not just getting your freedom, but it's investing in yourself. It's spending the money to do the things that you've said, someday I'm going to do this, someday I want to do that. Well, someday, we're running out of some days. Unfortunately, at 60 years old, most of us have less than 1,000 weeks of healthy active time remaining, and that's not a lot of some days in front of us. So not only do we need access to those days, but we need to be willing to spend. And for somebody like me, who frankly has been a good saver, been a good investor my whole life, that's a big transition to switch from being a saver to being a spender. And one of the things we can do to prepare for that is we can start using that spending muscle before we retire. I think if we wait until we retire to start trying to spend money, to start doing some of these things that we've been sacrificing, it can be hard. And that's why I made this video up here, which are 8 things to stop doing in your 50s and 60s in order to enjoy your journey until you retire. I'll see you in it.